Authorities are reportedly investigating every death linked to Diddy, including Kim Porter, Aaron Carter, and now Brittany Murphy. Brittany's 2009 death from pneumonia, followed by her husband's passing from the same illness just 5 months later, is now seen as more than a tragic coincidence. Allegedly, it was part of a broader plan to silence those who may have had damaging information on Diddy. As we look deeper into these suspicious celebrity deaths, one word keeps surfacing: pneumonia. Why is it that anyone who distances themselves from Diddy mysteriously dies of it?
She was an actress with big potential. Then Brittany Murphy died young. Well, now a new HBO Max documentary is looking into the star's troubled final years.
It's your first look at the blockbuster documentary that reveals new chilling information about the mysterious death of actress Brittany Murphy.
I met this guy who's so totally amazing.
The former It Girl, known for the films Clueless, 8 Mile, and for dating Ashton Kutcher, died in her home at age 32.
Media and paparazzi surrounded the home that she shared with her husband, Simon Monjack.
I'm a happy type person. I smile a lot.
She's a Scorpio. What else do you need to know?
I'm a double Scorpio.
Double Scorpio.
She evidently collapsed.
Brittany Murphy was allegedly involved with Ashton Kutcher while he was still married to Demi Moore. Ashton even confided in Diddy, expressing concern about being exposed. Around that time, Brittany had just wrapped filming Just Married with Ashton, which is when he introduced her to Diddy. For the next few years, Ashton and Brittany reportedly continued their relationship in secret until it ended in 2005. 2 years later, Brittany married Simon, who some claim may have been a con artist. In 2009, just weeks after Diddy's 40th birthday, Brittany allegedly died from pneumonia.
I've never seen a case where a young wife dies and 5 months later, a youngish husband dies, basically from the same underlying factors.
Not only the same underlying factors, but even the couple's final hours alive are eerily similar. The night Brittany died, she passed out twice.
Eventually, I got to the point where she had told her mother, Sharon, "Mommy, I'm dying. I'm going to die."
To me, that is alarming that a mother would ignore those requests for help, those cries for help from her own daughter.
I was around Ashton Kutcher and Diddy before, and they were speaking about Brittany Murphy. And I don't think I ever told this story, and I'm about to tell this story here. While he was married to Demi Moore, he was still sneaking around seeing Brittany Murphy. You understand? We were going to Nets game, so we picked him up, and he was explaining to Diddy that every time he goes to Brittany's house, paparazzi always catches him or almost catch him coming out her apartment or coming out the building. Diddy was telling him that's either the doorman or your security. You know what I'm saying? And he was still married to Demi Moore at the time. So you could have something, you could be right. Cause it's crazy how they said her and Kim and some other individual with them or around them all died of pneumonia and they were in perfect health.
It just gave me the shivers, that, because how can these two people be around the same people but die of the same death? Is it a case of the stories that are going to expose them of, they become a friend?
The latest Hollywood mystery: the husband of actress Brittany Murphy has been found dead just 5 months after her own passing. CBS News correspondent Michelle Miller has the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Harry. Well, some would say that Simon Monjack was best known simply for being married to Brittany Murphy. Now he has followed her into death in an eerily similar way.
It was a marriage between a fading young star and an unknown screenwriter with a checkered past. Now, just 5 months after Brittany Murphy's tragic death from pneumonia and drug intoxication, her husband, Simon Monjack, has also died. The 39-year-old was found unconscious Sunday night in the same Hollywood Hills home where Murphy had gone into cardiac arrest December 20th. Ironically, Brittany Murphy's mother, Sharon, discovered the bodies of both her daughter and her son-in-law. A neighbor described the scene the night Murphy died.
They were putting tubes in her throat and trying to resuscitate her with paddles. And then her husband was here just wandering around and in his pajama bottoms, just looking completely dazed.
5 months after Brittany's passing, her husband died from the exact same symptoms, yet no formal investigation was ever launched. It's important to note that these symptoms closely resemble those that led to Kim Porter's death. Toxicology reports from Brittany Murphy's autopsy revealed unusually high levels of toxins and heavy metals in her system. Even her father publicly stated that he believes she was poisoned, raising more questions about the true cause of her death.
Actually passed away before Kim Porter's second autopsy report was finished. Ed Winters worked on people like Paul Walker, Tom Petty, Brittany Murphy, and Michael Jackson. And then I found out even something more crazy. So do you guys remember Harley Pasternak, the trainer that was CIA that Kanye talked about trying to off him and other celebrities like Aaron Carter?
Harley Pasternak followed me to the hotel. The nigga here. Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak, Pusha, your trainer. Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z.
Harley Pasternak worked with Brittany Murphy before she passed away. Harley Pasternak claimed that Brittany Murphy's husband hired him to work with Brittany, but when she came into his gym, he was sure that she was under the influence of something. Yeah, right. And what makes everything even worse is the fact that Brittany Murphy dated Ashton Kutcher around the same time that he was best friends with Diddy. And it's been alleged for years that before Brittany Murphy passed away, she was getting ready to expose SA that was happening in Hollywood. And we know even though Ashton Kutcher was friends with Diddy, he worked at an organization for these SA child and women victims. That was up until 2023, until Ashton Kutcher decided to resign from Thorne because he sent a letter in support of Danny Masterson, basically discrediting all of his victims and saying how much of a great guy he was. So a man for years that sat on a board trying to help women and children, that was also friends with someone like Diddy, was dating Brittany Murphy, and she was allegedly getting ready to expose the industry in some things that she knew. And Harley Pasternak just so happened to be around her right before she passed away.
According to the autopsy, Brittany Murphy died from pneumonia and severe anemia. But if her anemia was that serious, why didn't she seek medical help? Severe anemia leads to major breathing problems. It doesn't usually cause sudden death without warning. Before she passed, Brittany reportedly told her mother she felt like she was going to die. So why didn't her mom take her to a hospital or call 911?
997 was the address of the emergency.
1895 Rising Glen Road.
What's the phone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
Oh, somebody's passed out.
Somebody what?
My daughter's passed out. We're doing mouth to mouth. Please get your friend.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. All right, we're going to. How old is your daughter?
She's 30. Please hurry.
She's 30? Okay, she's with you now?
Yes, there's someone coming.
Yeah, ma'am. You don't have to yell. We're going to send somebody out there, okay? Is she awake?
Please, no.
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay, so somebody's doing mouth to mouth?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, did somebody see what happened?
No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. Is there a defibrillator available? Is there a defibrillator available?
Defibrillator, do we, honey? No.
Okay, listen to me carefully. We're on our way. I'm going to give you instructions. Are you right by her now?
Yes.
Are you right by her?
Anyone who dares to speak out against Diddy seems to meet an untimely and tragic end. In an episode of Piers Morgan, celebrity bodyguard Big Homie Cece revealed that he was also threatened after speaking up about Diddy. It's hard to ignore that both Kim Porter and Brittany Murphy died of pneumonia. These patterns suggest that disturbing things may be happening behind the scenes. Far from coincidence.
Do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Noor talking about it in the booth of the bathroom while snorting at the Kit Kat Club.
Let me ask you a question. From your journalistic perspective, have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem? Have you ever seen that before?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who died of pneumonia at a very young age. You just referenced your own situation with pneumonia that you believe was deliberate poisoning. Do you believe that may be what happened to her?
Why are so many people coming down with pneumonia? Why is that happening to everybody? What is that about? Where have you ever seen this many cases of pneumonia associated with one situation? So,
there were rumors.
I'm not saying.
Well, I was going to mention on this that there have been rumors circulating online that Diddy may have poisoned Jamie Foxx, which caused his 2023 hospitalization. In his Netflix show, he compared Combs to the devil in revealing his near-death experience after a brain bleed and stroke. He said, I say this all the time. I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. It was hot in that tunnel. I thought, shit, have I gone to the wrong place? I looked up at the end of the tunnel and I thought I saw the devil saying, come on. Or was that...
If Kim Porter and Brittany Murphy truly had pneumonia, why didn't doctors detect anything during their medical checkups before they died? Just a week before her death, Kim was examined by some of the top doctors in the country, and according to her autopsy, nothing unusual was found. So how did she go from being perfectly healthy to dying from something as severe as pneumonia in less than a week? The timeline just doesn't add up.
Palpitation of the anterior neck region, a small amount of blood was noted is issuing from the right nair. A small amount of white frothy sputum was also noted issuing from the mouth. Oh, she had foam coming out of her mouth? What appeared to be a contusion was noted to the left upper arm. Multiple small red dots and what appeared to be a small contusion was noted to the right upper arm. What appeared to be small contusions were also noted to the bilateral posterior upper legs. Piercings were noted to the bilateral ears, implants were noted to the bilateral breast, a vertical line of discoloration was noted extending from the upper abdomen to the groin region, the back was unremarkable, no other scars, marks, or apparent signs of trauma were noted. Rigor was noted to be a 3 throughout the body, lividity was fixed and appeared to be consistent with the decedent's position upon my arrival. Identification, decedent was positively identified as Kimberly Antoinette Porter. Next of kin, they notified the son and other family members. Decedent was not married. I spoke with Detective Patike at the scene and he confirmed this information. Organ tissue procurement was not addressed with the family. And autopsy notification, it says no exam notification.
According to Terrence Howard, the people who target you in Hollywood operate from the shadows. They follow you, poison you, and orchestrate your downfall without ever revealing themselves. What's happening isn't random. It's a deliberate and calculated effort to remove anyone seen as a threat or obstacle in their way.
Before y'all talk about me, y'all need to talk to me. You see, once upon a time, if a man questioned another man's honor, he didn't do it from the shadows. He had to do it out in the open, with his name, his chest out, and his chin high. Not hiding behind a keyboard or tucked behind edited clips of fair use disclaimers. You see, citing Section 107 of the Copyright Act does not give you free rein to defame, misrepresent, or harm another's reputation. Fair use is not a shield for character assassination. So here's the simple truth. If you take my words, my image, my ideas, and twist them to feed your fear and inflate your ego, if you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths.
Hollywood pressures actors and performers into drug use and participating in disturbing freak-offs. Couch casting culture is still very much alive, just like it was during the Harvey Weinstein era. When actors try to speak out, they're often discredited or labeled as unstable. Before her death, Brittany Murphy's career was already fading. After Sin City in 2005, she struggled to land major roles. But why? Why did producers suddenly stop casting her? Could it be because she refused to take part in couch auditions? That question still lingers with no clear answers.
Drugs, you're going through so much shit. to try and deal with life, you are literally, it's an unhealthy space. And so eventually you're going to go too far. You know, who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it. A man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your...
Oscar-nominated actor Terrence Howard left the film industry because he understood what really happens behind closed doors. Couch casting and sexual favors are the foundation of this business, and Diddy's arrest along with recorded tapes seem to confirm it. Recently, on the Patrick Bet David podcast, Terrence Howard shared that he turned down some of the biggest roles of his career to protect his integrity. Diddy wanted to sleep with him, but Terrence stood firm on his principles and said no.
You see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in. No matter.
Today in this trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Today, the defense requested a mistrial following testimony from an LA arson investigator, but the judge denied the request. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
A mistrial request denied in the federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. His defense team accusing the government of prosecutorial misconduct during the testimony of a Los Angeles arson investigator who spoke about fingerprints that were lifted from the front door of rapper Kid Cudi's home as part of an investigation into a break-in there in 2011. The investigator testifying that those fingerprints were destroyed, and when prosecutors asked the investigator if that was unusual, the defense accused them of trying to plant the idea that Combs was responsible.
The overall implication, according to the defense, is that somehow Sean Combs created that disappearance. The defense moved for a mistrial, and they moved for it because what they said is that it's unduly prejudiced, because this is the whole theory of what the prosecution is putting forth, is that he has this control and can make these investigations disappear.
Instead, the judge striking that part of the testimony, telling jurors to disregard it. Right before, the jury heard from a police officer who responded to that break-in, testifying that he saw a black Escalade leaving the scene with plates registered to Combs' company Bad Boy Productions. The arson investigator also testifying about another incident at Kid Cudi's home in 2012 when his Porsche was set on fire. He testified about the smoke and fire damage in these photos that were shown to the jury, and said he determined the fire was targeted and started with the Molotov cocktail. Kid Cudi last week testified he believed Combs was responsible for both incidents after finding out he was dating Kat.
Our first look inside Combs's Miami mansion, the day federal agents busted the gate open last year to raid it. A federal agent testifying about the evidence, guns and ammo seized from Diddy's home that were found near alleged freak-off supplies, which included dozens of bottles of baby oil and boxes of platform heels, bondage restraints, and bundles of rope. Also photographed as evidence that day, motivational messages on Combs's bathroom mirror that included "You a legend" and "Upward motion," and drugs. Lots of drugs, including ones found in plastic bags inside a Gucci bag and orange tablets with the Tesla logo that tested positive for
Got new exhibits today. Take a look at these photos that prosecutors have just released. They're pictures of Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, with what she says are bruises on her back and legs, which you can see here, and also a gash above her eye. Also released today, some pictures from when Diddy was arrested in September of last year at the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York. And a special agent with Homeland Security testified last week that some of the items found included baby oil, drugs, these pink packets of ketamine. There's also this image of a knife wedged in a door. Now, Combs, we aren't sure if he's going to be taking a stand in his own defense, but he denies all of the allegations against him. But will all of these witnesses really prove the government's charges that he was running this criminal empire and that he still